My life matters.
We always talk about white people killing black people, but we don't talk enough about black on black crime. We kill each other.
My life matters.
Kansas City is different.
Stuff can happen at a moment.
My life matters.
Say if somebody made me mad, I do the first thing that comes to my mind.
My life matters.
We just go and just retaliate now, or just get revenge on anything.
My life matters.
I mean, we've got about 170 homicides already in the city this year.
My life matters.
I saw on the news an 11-year-old girl was shot and killed, and that's all I saw.
As the preaching minister at our church, one thing I don't want to spend any time thinking about, presentation software.
What I love about FreeShow is in many ways its ease of use.
Hey, I'm Jared Ellis from Fellowship Regional Church in Iola, Kansas.
My name is Paul Hubart. I'm the lead pastor of Southside Christian Church in Fort Pierce, Florida.
In working with church apps, when FreeShow was brought onto the scene, it absolutely took over for us.
We're a church of roughly about 150 folks. I'm not super technologically advanced, but I'm able to put together displays that are visually engaging and look top notch really every Sunday. Because of the versatility of FreeShow and really the strength of the program.
With FreeShow, we've been able to grab somebody, and because it's so incredibly user-friendly, we can teach them so quickly how to operate the program.
We had an issue with FreeShow that I was struggling to figure out.
So we sent an email, and immediately somebody gets back to us.
And I was actually able to get in touch with the creator of FreeShow directly.
I just need it to work. And that wasn't happening with the presentation software we were using before. So for us, yeah, FreeShow's incredible.
Would we continue using FreeShow if budget wasn't an issue? And yeah, absolutely we would.
If money was no object and it came down to whether or not we were going to use FreeShow or maybe try to use a more expensive program, there's no way in the world that we would go with something else.
Hold on. Let me get myself in focus, y'all. Here we go. What's good? What's good? Gary B. Jr. here, your media consultant. And I am excited to be here with you guys today. If I look sleepy, it's because I had an early morning. I was helping someone get to the airport this morning. And if you're in America, there's an issue with TSA and the flights and fun stuff. And so we got going at about 3 o'clock. Well, I got up at about 3. And we ran into some traffic and yeah. So, but it's been good. I'm grateful. They got to where they got to go and I'm excited. We got a few folks on with us right now. This is going to be fun. Like I said, I look like I'm coming in hot. Let me see. I'm going to turn me down just a bit. I'm not sure if it's too loud, but I don't like to come in too hot on the audio. But if I am, let me know. We got quite a few folks on here. We've got, let's see here. Mr. Mark from Kalispell, Montana in the house. Welcome, my friend. Larry Sweeting in the house. Good afternoon. So wait a minute. Larry, where you at? Where it's afternoon? Where are you at, Larry? I thought you were in Carolinas. For me, it's still morning. It's still morning for me. Let me know, Larry. I might have been confused. All right, let's see here. We got Jim in the house. Jim Lawyer in from Dayton, Ohio. Welcome. In Kentucky, it's still morning in Kentucky, man. What's going on? I love it. Let's see here. Mark said it's currently 49 degrees and rainy up in Montana. And Larry said he's been doing good. Let's see here. We had a great question from Roger Peterson, F7S. They said, my question is about editing fonts and styles in FreeShow. I have a blank, and I'm thinking they're saying like I don't know what that means. The styles is blank, and then they drag a new template on the slide. Oh, okay. They got a blank slide, and then they drag a new template on the slide. Is this the correct way? And I just told Roger we're gonna talk about that because there's a lot of ways you can update your fonts and stuff in FreeShow, and we'll talk about all those. Let's see here. Okay. Larry had a question too. He said, I have a question. If you have a Spirit-led ministry, how would FreeShow be of great use? Oh yeah, I got a great idea for you. Larry. Let's see here. He said it's just I say morning, almost noon. I got you. I got you. All right, let's see it. Tiff for Rent is on. God bless you, brother. They say finally made it to a free show Friday. All right, welcome, Tiff for Rent. Let us know your name and where you're from. Let us know where your name and where you're from, Tiff for Rent. I might be saying it all wrong, so forgive me. Then we got Muter Reliwan 3384. Good evening from Nigeria. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. So let's start with this very first question. And it was about how to handle your fonts and the look and feel of your show in FreeShow. How to handle the look and feel of your show in FreeShow. So let me see if I can share my screen with you guys. You all should be able to see that just fine. Let's talk about this. So in FreeShow, there are some components that we need to understand. All right. So I'm going to go over these components first, and then we'll talk about how they interact with each other. The very first component that I would say that you need to understand is the templates. All right. Down here in your drawer at the bottom, there is a option called templates. This templates tab allows you to dictate the look and feel of your slides. All right. And you'll see that it comes with some defaults. Your defaults have a little shield down there, and these are all built in. I would say before you do anything, just start with the defaults. Get a feel for how they work. Get a feel for what they do. And I'm going to pull up just a generic show here. I'm going to pull up a song, and we'll look at it and just kind of play with it. Let's see here. Crossing the other side of the tracks. Okay. I was like, what is this? This is the, I think Larry, did you send this to me? I think this is from Larry last week. I was like, what song is that? I don't know how I got that in the songs. Quick tip. Let's see. I think I got something in here called presentations. I don't. Let's see here. Scripture, media in the labs, free show. If you don't, you can add a new category. I'm gonna add a category called presentations. And then I'm gonna go back to my songs. And I'm going to pull in crossing to the other side, or crossing the other side into my presentations. This is a way for you to keep your shows organized. All right. So I like to keep them organized as best I can. This is kind of like my card catalog in my library. Some of y'all may not be old enough to know what a card catalog is, but that's okay. In FreeShow, under your shows, you can organize by category, and it helps you group your content, group your shows. All right. So let me find a song. Let's see here. Is this a song? Daily Bread. Okay. Okay. I think somebody gave me this song, or my wife gave me this song. Okay. This is cool. All right. So we got a song. The intro is completely blank on that first slide. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. Yeah, it's blank. Okay. So if I go here, it just shows the title and it's completely empty. Let me double check. I don't think I have my output set to transparent. Nope. Transparent's not on. Okay. And let me clear out my background. There we go. So this will be a blank one, and I've got it set to where it shows up to show the actual metadata from the actual slide. So my first slide is always having some metadata on in terms of the artist, the name, and then if there's any CCLI information that I've added in the metadata, that would show up here right afterwards. Okay. Now, if I want to change the look of this slide, right? So it says waking up to manna, right? If I want to change the way that looks, I can just go down to the templates and I can find a style that I like. All right. One of my favorites is the box. All right. So I can select the box. It looks really good on a blank background. That's why I like it. And I've worked in some churches and served where they like to just have a completely blank background. And so I'm going to go to here. And then when I click on any slide now, it automatically updates that template to what I can see here. Okay. So now the audience is going to see that. If I want to change the font of this, I can right click in here on this template itself and I can edit it, or I can duplicate it, right? My recommendation is keep your templates exactly how they were by default and then just duplicate and make your own version. All right. So I'm going to say box Gary. All right. You might call it box 2. Totally up to you. All right. So now I got my box Gary. I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to edit it. And inside of here, I can make some changes. And I've already edited some of my templates to where I put a condition on them, especially the ones that have some type of outline or item The item is the actual frame, right? So I've added a corner radius to it to kind of, it's already there. I didn't add that, but I've actually, it's got this outline. It's got some color to it, some transparency to it. I've right clicked on it and added a condition, and that condition allows it to not be shown if there's no text there. That's why my first slide always looks blank, even when it's using this particular template. All right, whole nother story. You can look. I got a teaching a video on conditions somewhere. I can't remember what it's called, but just look up on my channel, look up conditions, and you'll see a video about that. Okay. All that to say is I can change this font. So I can select this. This is editing the template. Okay. So I can go to the text box and I can say, you know what? I want this font to be, one of my easy ones to tell is this one, this fantasy font. It's kind of bulky. And I want everything to be shrink to fit. That's something that I always change on my templates as well. So that way nothing over spills outside of the lines if there are lines to it. So you can turn on shrink to fit. And then I go back to my show. I got Box Gary here. So now when I select Box Gary, watch what happens. It automatically adjusts the fonts. And then when I select it, it automatically is up to date now. This is going to be the quickest and easiest way for you to update. You don't have to drag your templates onto your show. You simply click them and they'll automatically apply. And so when I come out of this show, this is called Daily Bread. If I go to Agnes D and go to this particular song and come back to Daily Bread, it keeps the template. So all you do with your templates is just click the one you want. While you're on your show, it'll automatically apply and it'll stay there. It'll be saved to that show every time you come back to it. And you can always come back and change that if you want to by simply clicking another one. So if I say, oh, I don't want that, I want it to look like this, I can do that. And now it looks like that. Okay. No box on there at all. It's just big and bold. And it stays that way until I change it again. All right. Now, that's the first thing I want you to understand. Templates are the foundation of the way your actual shows look. The next step in this is, what if you say, you know what? I just want it to look the same every time on every show all the time. If you want that to happen, you can affect the entire output. Okay. Your entire output could have its own template, but in FreeShow, it's called a style for that entire output. So if I go here and I go to my styles option on the left, I went up to settings and I'm going to styles and I'm in my default right now. Okay. And the way I can tell I'm in my default, if I go to my outputs and I'm on my primary one, which is this primary one here, that's active. That's what that checkbox means. My style that I'm using is called default. Okay. So now I can go back to styles. I can look at default and I can say, okay, what do I want the slide particular template to be for stuff that's not scripture? That's what the override slide with the template is. It's for anything that's not a scripture. All right. So I can select here and I'm going to do that Box Gary that I just made. Boom. Box Gary. If it is a scripture, I can set a template for that one and it brings the scripture ones up to the top for you. Okay. So you can pick one of these. I got to edit it. Scripture, stage, edit it. I got a scripture. You'll have some default ones there. You can change that if you want to. Okay. I'm not going to change it on mine. I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like. But these are your overrides for your entire output, that whole window. Okay. For that one screen. Or if it's split, it's going to go to those two screens. I'm going to go here back to my show. So I got that added. Now watch what happens. Look at what happened. If I go here, it's on big bold. Okay. It's on big bold for this show. It's highlighted. I didn't change that. But look at what it looks like now when I go to the show. Now let me go back. I'll show you what Agnes D looks like. Check that out. It automatically is in a box now too, because everything that's coming out of this output is going to be in a box. Now it gets more fun because if you have multiple screens and you want them to look different, let's add another output. I'm gonna go to my settings and I'll add in, I got this loop output that I've made. I got a loop style for it. So let me turn it on. It's just another output. So I got two previews now. If I go to styles, I made a loop output and it doesn't have any overrides, but we know we can override. So I can say, okay, I want this one to be big and bold. All right. So now when I go to my show, I can select this and check it out. This TV screen has a box around it. This TV screen doesn't. It's big and bold. So you can dictate the entire output with your styles. You can dictate your show with your templates, okay? And you would set everything up based on the template in terms of what the font colors and the layout of the box and all that stuff look like, all right? So that's what I wanted to make sure was clear for you guys. That's like a masterclass on understanding how to navigate your stuff in your size of your fonts, the colors and all that stuff in FreeShow. Okay. Let me see what we got here. I saw a lot of stuff popping up. I might have missed some stuff here. Okay. Okay, and then we got Larry's question. Let me see if there's any questions about what I just did here. Okay, Tiffany said, he said I said it great. They said I said it great. My name is Lauren from Orlando. All right, is my name and my wife's name, Tiffany. Come on, put together. That's what I'm talking about. Me and my wife do that all the time. We do that. So yeah, we go by Garvaz. I'm Gary and her name is Shavaz. So big shout out to my lovely wife, Shavaz. All right. Excuse me. Let's see here. I did not. Oh, Larry said he did not send it. Somebody sent him. I can't remember who sent it. Oh, it wasn't you, Larry. It was oh, it was my friend from Atlanta. I forgot his name. I don't think he's on here right now yet. But yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me go back up to Larry's question though, and then I'm gonna come to your question, Tiffany. And I see that you got one, and then Gorlim MJ has got a question as too. So we're gonna get to those questions as well. So Larry Sweeting says, I have a question. If you have a spirit-led ministry, how would Free Show be of great use or be a great use? So I'm glad you asked. Let's talk about this. All right. So I'm gonna tell you what I think that means when you say spirit-led ministry. You correct me where I'm wrong or how it applies to your ministry, because every ministry is going to be unique. And this is something that I love about the body of Christ. We were talking about this with the group that I'm a part of, and so I'm excited. If I look over at my phone, you guys forgive me. I'm just looking to make sure I didn't miss any messages from my wife. All right, perfect. All right, so now here's the deal. When it comes to a spirit-led church, my perspective of it, one of the major parts of that is that there is an order of service, and there's often more spontaneous parts to that service. Let me put it that way, right? So there's usually going to be a beginning, a middle, and an end of the service, whatever that looks like. So the beginning might be prayer, it might be announcements, whatever it is. That's always going to happen. And then the middle of the service is usually going to involve some worship. It's going to involve some teaching, some preaching, and that's always going to happen. And then the end is always going to involve maybe some prayer, maybe some communion, maybe some closing announcements, benediction, whatever it is. That's always going to happen. But the way it looks each week is going to vary. And even the plan for maybe how the teaching is going to go and or the worship is going to go can vary in the middle of the service, meaning that we may start singing one song and we have the lyrics up, and then we end up singing a whole new song with the same beat, same melody or whatever. The musicians just playing the same notes, but the singers start singing different words. Okay. I've been a part of ministries where that's a part of the flow. I love that. And as a media person, it can be it's a unique challenge. I'm gonna put it that way. It's not stressful, but it is definitely a unique challenge. Let me put my circle face so you guys can see my face, all right? So y'all can hear my heart. It is a unique challenge when it comes to those kind of ministries, but it's not something that you're not going to be prepared for, right? You can be prepared for this, all right? So let's talk about how to prepare if you're going to be working in, I'm gonna call it, for lack of better words, a spontaneous ministry setup, okay? So I got this song. This is Hallelujah, right? If they start singing some different words to this song and we need to make the words, I can make a new, so this is the default layout for Hallelujah, all right? This is the modified layout. I don't know if I changed something in there. I don't know what it was, but you can always make another version. So I can hit here and I'm gonna call it the spirit-led version, all right? And then I can go in here and I can right click and I can add a new slide, okay? I don't know where that new slide went. I don't know. Oh, here it is. I was like, where did my new slide go? All right, so I got my new slide. I can drag this slide to the end if I want to. And there's one at the end down there, actually. So I got my new slide down here. Okay. So I got a new slide here. I'm not sure what this blank one is, though. I guess it just put it in that order at the course one. Course one, it just put some blank slide in. Okay, that's fine. So I'm on my blank slide. I would hit this little grid icon, and it actually gives me a whole new layout. It lets me type in the words I want in here. So I can, maybe not. Let me see. Oh, so I got it set to where it's override. Let me think. Okay, so in here, there's a text box. That's good. So in here, there should be a text box somewhere. Let's see. Let me type something there. Okay. Let me go back here. Okay. Okay, there we go. So I got some words here. I can type over these words. I can say, I'm gonna make up my own new song. This is my heart. Okay. This is my love. All right. So they just started singing that out the blue. Okay. They were singing Worthy is the Lamb, then they just started singing this. You can type that in. And now it's not showing up for the audience. Boom. You click on it, it automatically shows up. Oh, they just started singing something else. Let me clear this out. Let me put in something else. This is, oh, I cleared out my space. I think my override is doing something with that. So let me put this back in here. So I'm gonna say, this is my prayer. Now clear this one out. I don't need that S there. All right. So you can update that and click here, and it automatically shows up for them to see here. All right. So that would be my number one tip when it comes to a spirit-led ministry, is to go to your settings here. You got the grid option on the bottom right of your main show screen. Hit it one more time, and you're going to see the list option is what they call it, or list view. And like I said, let me turn off some of this stuff here. I'm going to turn off some of my default stuff. I don't need those on anymore, these overrides. And I'm going to turn off the whole loop output. Don't need that one. All right. Okay, that's what I'm used to seeing. It should say something there, and you can just start typing in there. So if I clear this out, I got 2 text boxes in there, but you can type in there, okay? All right. That template override kind of, I'm not sure what the style override template, whatever, did something special to it. But if you don't have that active, you don't usually see that. You don't usually see that issue, okay? But yes, so you can do that. That would be my first thought, is to add an option or a slide for you to type in some new things, okay? Type in some spontaneous things. Another thing about it, when it comes to scriptures, right? So a lot of times it's not just the songs, but it's also the scripture. The way that FreeShow is designed to search for scriptures is unbelievable, okay? So you can do a search over here if they actually reference the scripture. So if they say Matthew 6, I can type in M-A-T, and it automatically takes me to Matthew, fills it in. I can type 6 and then hit the space bar and type 3:3, and it automatically puts in the colon and that. When I hit enter, it automatically brings it into my show for me, into a show. And then now I got the show here. I can go into it and show it real quick. Okay. So you don't have to type out full verses and references and all that kind of stuff. If they're looking for, if they just say a phrase and you want to put it in, you can still be down here in the scriptures and hit this little search icon, and you can type in kingdom. All right. You'll see every time the word kingdom is mentioned in that version of the Bible. This is the New Living Translation, and you can do a search from there. If I do kingdom of God, it narrows it down even more, and you'll see you can do filters and searches of phrases, basically, is what I would say, based on the Bible you're using. All right. So that's a really, really important tip that I would say is important for that, because it gives you, basically, to me, when it's spirit-led, you need to be able to move quickly and on the fly. And that does not mean building and making a whole new show. It just means working what you got and making it happen. Okay. And so those 2 tips will be the biggest ones. Go to your list view here, and then also do you understand your scripture search. This is if they give you the reference itself. They say Isaiah 15:9. Okay. Then you can type it here. All you're doing is typing in ISA and then 15 space 9. All right. It automatically shows up there. Hit enter. It automatically makes a show for you. And then you can just select that show. And like I said, if you're in that list view, that's fine. But if you're in grid view, it'll automatically go there. Okay. Let's see here. Hopefully that makes sense. Larry, let me know if there's some other thoughts that come to mind that your service particularly is unique, or this unique to your service, I should say. All right. Let's see here. Tiffany says, I would love if you could showcase how to use playback with FreeShow. Playback with FreeShow. Thank you for your response to my comment on the MIDI video. You had mentioned recording and automating. Oh yeah, glad. Thank you for bringing that up, Tiffany. I appreciate that. Okay. So last week on FreeShow Friday, if you did not get to check it out. FreeShow Friday is it's literally the place for, if you are using FreeShow and you want to continue to improve using FreeShow Fridays for you. All right. It's also for if you are let me see here. Let me move my circle camera up. I see that it's actually in the way there. So that's that. Hold on. I'm gonna move myself up out of the way of the the little logo that I got there. All right. But if you're using FreeShow and you just want to get better at it, FreeShow Fridays for you. If you are not using FreeShow, but you are curious of how to use FreeShow Friday is for you. If you're using FreeShow, you're comfortable using FreeShow, but you got a question and you need to see how it works, right? See a demo of how to make that thing work or that idea based on Gary's version. I'm not saying that I got all the answers, but I definitely will go down that trail with you on that journey to try to figure it out, right? And you can share with me what you've already done and we can work it out and figure out some things together. That's what FreeShow Friday's for. And so if you have a comment on one of my videos, Tiffany had a comment or a question about one of my videos about the mini stuff, and I made a comment to him, and the idea was, how do we do this new feature? And I said, I think I said I'll talk about it on FreeShow Friday. I might have made that up, but I'm glad they jumped on to ask me on FreeShow Friday, because that's exactly what this is for. All right. This is where questions get answered real time. All right. So last week, all that to say, last week we tried to do a recording and it was some kind of glitch going on. And I was trying to recreate that glitch this week and I could not. All right. So let me see if we can recreate it or just do this the way we want to. So I'm gonna go back to my shows, to my songs, and I'm gonna go to God, I Look to You. All right. This might have been the song I used. So to record for easy playback, okay, you got to open up a show. I'm not even in a particular project right now. That doesn't even matter. This is going to be specific to your show. So I'm gonna go to my show and I can go up here to the upper right. So this is using FreeShow, the latest version. I think I'm in 159. Let me see. Yeah, I'm in 159. There's a 160 beta that's out, but I'm not using it. I'm currently using the 159. I might update to 161 or 160 while we're online. We'll see. Because there is a very cool update that I did get to test out this week with a partner. So that was pretty cool. All right, now in here, I'm in a show. I selected it. I can go up here to these three dots at the top, and you'll see an option that says toggle timeline. Boom. Now we have something special going on. This is where things get interesting, because the toggle timeline, it has a record button. Okay. So if I select here, I have some options. Okay. First option is I can just start dragging stuff onto this timeline and bring it to the very beginning, drag this on here, drag this on here, and then go so forth and so on, drag this on here. I'm not recording anything, but whatever goes in that timeline is recorded. All right. So now what that means is if I'm here, I'm on this slide, but I press play, I got slide 1 here. Okay. So when I hit play, it automatically goes to slide 1 and it's going to go through the timeline. The playhead is going to move over and it's going to go through what I've already added in here as verses. Okay. This can be really, really helpful, especially if you have volunteers, because it'll automatically go to the side that you want to when it's designed to go to it. If you have a very predictable service, unlike what Larry was asking about. So this is not going to be useful or as useful for spirit-led services. We have live musicians. But if you have maybe pre-recorded songs, right, to where your ministry is using stems with the band and you know they're going to follow the track, right? Or if you just use CDs or MP3s or whatever it is, and you have a worship team that sings along with it, or if you know that your team is not going to deviate from what they planned in practice, okay? This is a really cool feature. So let me go ahead. I'm going to delete these real quick, because let's say you're in worship practice. What you can do is they can actually start the song. You can start on the slide you want to start on and just hit record. All right. And while they're going through the song, you're going through the slides and it'll automatically add those particular slides to the recording down here, if you notice. And I'm just clicking on the next slide. And I can use my arrow keys, right? If I use spacebar, it stops it, I think. So I'll use the arrow keys to the right here. And if I hit spacebar, it stops it. Okay. And so I can hit stop here. It pauses it, I should say. And then you can start recording again. But now I've got that going. I've got that set. I can go back down. I stopped it already. When I hit play, it automatically plays my show. Now, last week, for some reason, the way I did it, it kept jumping back and I could not recreate that. So I don't know what I did to do that, but I have not seen that problem since then. So I'm not sure what I did. Okay. But notice that the show is going on its own. Now, this becomes incredibly useful when you're in practice with your team, your worship team, your choir, whatever it is, live. Okay. If you're not, let's say you do have stems. Okay. Maybe you have the song track or whatever it is you're singing or playing to. You can bring that in here as its own option. And now I can't do that. I think I did. I did that. Let me see. I did one for Welcome to FreeShow Friday last week. Okay, welcome to FreeShow Friday. All right. So I'm going to go into this song, okay? I've already got some stuff here. This is going to be releasing a video soon. I just haven't got it edited yet. So if I clear this out, I got this custom song from our friend Claude from Canada. And so this song has a pre-recorded. Let me see what happens. Let me see what it does. Since I deleted everything out, I don't think it's going to do anything. It's playing, but there's nothing there because I've already cleared everything out. Okay. So I added in a start timeline here, but I've really removed that timeline. So I'm going to clear that out. And so we're going to record this together. All right. So if I scroll down, there's audio layer, there's a slide layer, and there is a actions layer. Now I've got my track with the lyrics already pre-made here. So these are all the lyrics, but let's go ahead and bring in the audio tracks. If I go to audio, and let's see here, what would it be? Is it in downloads? Nope. Maybe in music? Nope. Downloaded music. Let me see. It could be in here. I had a song. Let's see. I'm going to do a search for welcome. Here we go. Welcome to FreeShow Friday. Perfect. Okay. So I can do a search for any song or any item in any of my tabs. That was the smart way to do it. I just didn't do that. Okay. Now I'm going to drag this into the timeline. It just automatically goes into the right layer. Okay. So now I got this song. I'm going to record with the song playing. And so you guys should be able to hear this in a second. I'm going to have it down a little bit, but we'll play it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit record, and we're going to start putting the tracks together. This is my new jam.
Welcome to FreeShow Friday. Welcome my friends from everywhere. I am Gary, glad you're with me. Pull up a chair, we're gonna look at this free show. A tool to serve your church each day, to help you praise in every language, to lift his name in every place.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it there. All right, and it'll fade out, it stops. But I recorded just the first few slides for you guys, okay? Now, if I wanna go back and play it back, all I do is I don't have to scroll anywhere or do anything special. I just go down here to this timeline because I've got the toggle timeline feature on, okay? So if I toggle it off, it goes away. When I turn it back on, what I had on this show is still there. So I can hit play, and it just plays what we just recreated. So let me move my mouse out the way. I'm hands-free. I'm not touching anything. And it's going to go ahead and play through just like it is expected to. And this is what you can do. You can queue it up. If you're the one that's running it from your show, let me pull it up so you guys can see. All right. And so that was it. Okay. That was as far as I went, but you can go through the entire song and just click through your songs. And all I did was open the toggle the timeline, and then I hit record, clicked on my song, on my actual tracks after I added my audio, obviously. So you add in your audio track and then press record and just click on the slides you want, and it'll be saved to your timeline. All right. When it's time for that show to play, you just hit play. When it's time during the service, just hit play and it'll automatically play. All right. So that's what I was talking about, different on that particular feature. Let's see here. Let me make sure. Okay, got you. And then Gilliam says, can you add actions to the media files or the camera? And let me know, Tiffany, if that made any sense. Let's see here. Drop the single. What would you do if like Larry's church, we have a skeleton order of the song, but mostly follow the worship leader with the musicians, but looking to automate the lyrics. Oh no, Tiffany, I don't think you're gonna be able to automate. If it's gonna be spontaneous, there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, no, there's not much you can do about it. You're gonna literally have to be committed to having a person there at least to commit to, rewriting lyrics, moving slides, or selecting the right slide. Just because it's going to be difficult to automate, unless there's certain songs that that are going to be consistent, or certain parts of the song, that's where it becomes a challenge. All right. Let's see. Mostly what we need is how through playback the worship leader can click repeat or skip a bridge, and the track and musicians follow there. I'm trying to understand what you mean here. How the worship leader can click repeat. Oh, like for practice? I think I see what you're saying, for practice or something like that. Let me see. So if I do new layout, let me see something here. If I do new layout, I'm gonna say default 2. Nope, that toggle timeline does not change. I don't think it will change. Let's see here. Yeah, the timeline won't change for a different variation, but skip a bridge, and the track and musicians follow there. So if you make a different layout of the song, you can put in different options, you know what I mean, in terms of for your chorus and verse and all that kind of stuff. You can make those be different here, but that will not correlate with the actual pre-recorded song, if that makes sense, right? This is an MP3, this is already pre-recorded. It's there. Different says drop the single. I love that. So hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here. Let me make sure I go back up. I see some questions coming in, but let me get to Gwerlin MJ. He says, can you add actions to the media files or to cameras? So Gwerlin, let me know what you mean by the media files. Tell me about media files. I know we got media files here. So on the bottom left, we've got media files. Got folders. I got all kinds of stuff. What I'm hearing you say is, can we add actions to the cameras, right? So we got cameras here as well. The way that you would add an action to most anything is to either make it into an overlay, right? So for cameras, for example, or images, right? So graphic images, you can make those into an overlay. And if you notice, I've actually got something like that. So I got a cameras category here. So I got my GH5 camera here, and I got my webcam here, right? And so what I did was, making those into an overlay, I can now go into functions and I can add in, I don't know if I got one. Let me see here. I got companion, change. Okay, I don't have any camera actions, I don't think. I'm just double checking. Okay, so let's do new action. I'm gonna call this camera GH5. And I can say choose action. And I'm not looking actually for a camera, but you can do one that just says start camera, right? So I can pick a media that says start camera, but you also can pick one that says start overlay. So let's see if there's any difference. So I can say start camera, and there is a difference. So I'll show you guys what that is actually. Now I'll pick the camera I want. So I'm gonna pick my FaceTime. All right. Close that out. So I got my FreeShow Friday song here. I got my globe hands. But I just called it Camera GH5, and it should be called I think I called it the webcam. I made it the webcam. So let me rename that. Edit. Let's see here. Camera. I'm going to say FaceTime, which is like my webcam. Can't see my keys. All right. So FaceTime, lock that in. Okay. So my camera FaceTime, when I click that, it should change. There we go. So what happens is it brings my camera in, but it brings it into the background. Okay, so if you want to bring and change your background media to be a camera, then make an action and just says start camera. All right. But if you want your camera to actually go over the top, like let's say you're doing some type of production, right? Like a podcast or something like that, you don't necessarily want to be behind anything. You want to be on top of everything. Then you would do a different type of camera. So I'm going to do new action, and I'm going to call this one camera overlay. All right. And we'll say choose action. And I'm going to say start overlay. And I'm going to pick the same camera. All right. I got a bunch of cameras in here. Let me see what I called it. Okay. Camera. I don't know which one is which. They both say camera. All right. That's cool though. We'll just say camera, whatever that is. All right. And so I called it camera overlay. Let me go back to here. Put that back. Put my fancy hands. All right. Now camera overlay. Watch what happens. So this is what it looks like right now. When I hit this camera overlay, it didn't do anything. Let me check my overlays. I don't know what I called it. Oh, it's called GH5. Let me change that. And so I just picked the wrong action, you guys. That's on me. Let me go back to camera overlay, edit, and let's pick GH5. There it is. Okay, I'm like, you guys won't have this many overlays, I hope, but I got a bunch of stuff going on here. All right, mostly from demos. All right, so camera overlay. I got FaceTime camera that shows up, and it shows up in the background. We don't want that. So I'm gonna go back, boom, boom. But camera overlay, check out what happens. It literally goes over the top of everything. If you want that to happen, then I would make an overlay first. Just do new overlay, right? And I'm gonna edit this one, let you guys see exactly what it is. So when I do new overlay, what I did in here is I actually just added a camera from the items. So from the items, I just added a camera and I made it fill the entire screen, okay? And then I had a name for it, GH5. And then I went over here into my functions where all my actions are. And I just made a new action and I made it pick that particular overlay. And it did so. All right. So Gwirlin MJ, hopefully that makes sense. Let me check. See if there's any questions about that from my friend. Okay. Muter Rurilian Wine 3385. Forgive me. Please, what's the specification for the PC to use for 3 output monitor without having any lagging? I wish I could tell you, my friend. Probably because I don't know how to use a PC. I got one, but I don't know how to keep it from sounding really loud. I hate fan noise. Apparently, I didn't know I hated it till I started using my the computers I use now, which are Apple MacBook Pro. M1 Pro. So an older, like a 5-year-old version, right, of Apple's M1 chip, M1 Pro. And I use that. And so when you say for 3 cameras, or no, you said 3 output monitors, it'll support 2 monitors natively, the M1 Pro. So I'm gonna talk about what I know. Okay. The M1 Pro will support 2 outputs if you got a laptop. If you got a desktop, I think they made an M1 Pro desktop. I don't know. They might have made a Mac Mini M1 Pro, but I can't remember. I know they got some M4 Pros, right? And so what I would say is get yourself an Apple Mac Mini at like $500 or $600 US, and then add to that a Orion split extender to add 4 outputs to it. Okay, and I don't think you'll have any lag when it comes to your different outputs. With that setup, but for computers, for PCs, you have to talk with those in the community. Please let him know. Let our friend know. I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but let them know what you guys use. If you're using more than 3 or 3 monitors at least and don't have any lag, please put in the specs of your computer, right? If you got a PC specifically, if you got an Apple computer too, let me know. If you got an M4 chip or M3 chip or something like that, I'm just sure those will work if my M1 Pro works. That's why I say I'm not that concerned about Apple, but that's something to consider. And I would say it's worth a try, right? I know a lot of our community partners use Linux computers. If you use Linux, let me know. Let me know what you use. I don't speak Linux, so I'm not going to act like that makes sense to me. But I know for some of you guys, that makes a lot of sense and it's really easy to understand, which is really cool. All right. I'm on here like 3 different times. That's crazy. Let me calm myself down. I don't need to see my head that big in there. All right. Let's see here. Enoch Cody 9514 says, is there a way to host a guest speaker on Zoom using FreeShow while church members are in house? I wanted a way I wanted a way the guest speaker could view church via church camera linked to FreeShow. This is where it gets fun. So when you do this, this is not just a video problem. Hold on, you guys. My eye is itching. I think I put some lotion in my eye on accident from my hands. So if my eye turns red, it's because it's itching or something like that. But is a way to host a guest speaker on Zoom using FreeShow. So to host a guest speaker on Zoom. So first of all, you're going to have the guest speaker on Zoom. So you open up Zoom, boom, you got your camera, they got their camera. Whatever camera you have connected to your computer is going to show up in Zoom. Here's what I would recommend. Instead of using the camera connection, I would actually open up a third program in that equation, and that would be OBS. The reason I would say OBS is because OBS will allow you to create a virtual camera, okay? And that virtual camera will be read in Zoom. Zoom will be able to say, you can select the OBS virtual camera. And then whatever you put in OBS from FreeShow or from your cameras in OBS or whatever it is, your person on Zoom is going to see all of that, right? So they'll see whatever you decide to put into that. If you want to know how I set up OBS with FreeShow, check out my video. I got a video literally just dedicated. I think it's called Using FreeShow with OBS. Something real simple. Makes a lot of sense, hopefully. And it still applies today, okay? Even through the updates and all that kind of stuff. We've had a lot of cool updates with FreeShow since then, but the principle of intermingling and using those two programs together is going to remain the same. So check that out. But what I'm saying that for is this: it depends on how the interaction you want it to work. Because you said so it's a guest speaker. I want a way the guest speaker could view church via church camera linked to FreeShow. Yeah, so I would just add OBS in the mix. Look at that video, and then Enoch Star Cody 9514. Let me know what questions come up after you see that video, because if you've already been using Zoom, you got an idea, you got some understanding of how to use it, and the questions I would have relate to audio more than anything. And if you already understand how you're writing your audio and all that kind of stuff, which I'm assuming you do. If you don't, that's okay too. But I'm assuming you do. That video is going to fill in that plug to give you some feedback on how to do it to where you can intermingle your FreeShow overlays, your FreeShow lyrics, your slides, whatever you have in FreeShow through OBS into Zoom. Okay. Let's see here. Patrick UV. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I like the name. Pretty cool. Says, hello, I am a French speaking user. I would like the Parole Vivante Bible. Thank you. Patrick UV, that is a wonderful idea. And that is something I don't know how to find or get. But what I would say is look on GitHub. This is something that the team showed me last week, I think. Let me see here. I'm going to say XML Bibles. All right. So I'm going to pull this in here. We'll maximize this. We'll pull this out the way and pull this in here. All right. So I just did a search for XML Bibles. All right. I'm going to go to here. And I say XML Bibles because XML Bibles are like the easy way to get Bibles into FreeShow as far as I'm concerned. All right. Now you mentioned a certain type of Bible. It was the Parole Vivante. These are all kinds of Bibles. So I'm guessing it'll be a French. So if I go to French, these are Chinese, Czech, Danish, A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are English Bibles. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Finnish, French. Okay. So you said it starts with a P. French. I think this is it. What'd you say? Parole? No, PRPV. Okay. Parole Vivante. Parole. Yeah, Vivante. This might be it. PDV. French PDV Bible. So if you select this, it'll give you an option up here to just download it. I don't know if that's it. It just says PDV 2017 Bible. Let me know if that is it, my friend. If that's the Bible you're looking for. If so, just hit this little download button. I didn't know how to do this before. I knew how to get to this page. I'm don't get it twisted. I knew how to get to this in GitHub. I thought they just weren't working because it says, sorry about that, can't show the files. And I never paid attention to the fact I can still just download it. All right. And so if you download this here, and I downloaded it, it's called the French PDV Bible. If I go back into FreeShow and go to scripture, and I know you didn't ask for how to do this, but you may need to know, or somebody else may need to know. This is how easy it is to import a Bible. So I can go down to scriptures and go to the bottom where it says new scripture and select local. And here you would say import local file. And then you go to your downloads and then you would select that Bible. And let's see here. Does it say French Viron Viventi? I mean, no, this is French DV. Okay. So, but you would select that, open it up, and it'll say it's importing it, and it's there. But that is Perrault de V. And you asked for the Perrault Vivente. Let's see. This is NV. It could be one of these. So check it out, my friend. I'm not sure. French 20. The issue, not the issue, but the challenge is going to be finding someone that is actually translated that Bible and made it available through XML and made that file format available. I don't know how to make those. I just found those years ago. And so that's the only reason that I can, I make them available on my site based on what I found. And I found mine's like 15 years ago, literally, like it was literally that long ago. And I had just been using those as a media consultant, helping churches out that were using OpenLP because XML Bibles work in OpenLP and they work in FreeShow. So I didn't have a clue what FreeShow was that long ago. It didn't exist, but that's where those come from on my website. But you can come here and get them just as easily. I say just as easily. I don't know. I don't vouch for any of these. For the ones I use, I would say I can vouch for them, but they're older versions, right? So they're all from some time ago. They're not going to be the latest and greatest, but sometimes that's my preference. So I just stick with what I know, and I'm okay with that in terms of having an older version of the Bible. To me, is just less complicated and a little bit simpler, but it may not be congruent with what your pastor is using at the moment because they may have a newer version. And that's something we have to deal with. In FreeShow, they do keep up with newer versions. If you go to new scripture here again, and we select API instead of the local, you'll see here, if I do a search, let me do a search for payroll. Let's do a search for French. Okay, I got nothing showing up here. Yeah, let's see. Vivente. This is Viva. Open the Wave of Viva. No, Nova, Biblia Viva, Viva Portuguese. So, yeah, I don't know what or where to find that particular version. I'm sorry, my friend. Okay. Larry Sweeten says, well, in our ministry, I don't really worry about the songs and adding lyrics to a song. The scripture search really helps. Okay. Awesome. Brian Matua Lamumba, it's nice. Welcome, my friend. What's nice? I'm late, I know, so forgive me. Oh, maybe you're talking about the song. This is probably back when I was playing the song. Welcome to FreeShow Friday. Okay. Tiffany says, drop the single. What would you do if like Larry's church? Canvas skeleton worship. Okay. Tiffany says, mostly what we need is through playback. Okay. We talked about that already, so I'm skipping through. I'm just looking at the comments here. Okay, Roger Peterson F7S says, I want to have a slide for our responsive reading with a leader at the top, size 40 in italics, and the text at 100 and bold. At 100 and bold or standard. Okay, this is fun. Okay, so responsive readings are always funny. You want both of them to show up is what I'm hearing you say. All right. So I'm going to makeshift a responsive reading. So don't fault me for this. I don't have any responsive readings in here by default, but here's the deal. When it comes to this, you're going to have to create this. It sounds like, I'm guessing you only have to create it once. I don't think you guys are doing a new one every week. a different one every week, but maybe you do. If you do, this may not be the best. But what I would do is I'll just make a whole blank new show. So I'm gonna do presentations. I'll make it be a presentation, and I'll say new show. And I'm gonna call this responsive reading test. All right. And I'm gonna do quick lyric. Well, no, I'm gonna do an empty show because I want you guys to see exactly how I'm gonna do this. All right. So I'm gonna say empty show. I have no slides. So I'm gonna say new slide. It's just be blank. And I'm in the edit page now. All right. So what I would do is I'll make a text box here. And they said they want it at the top. And I'll make another text box. Let's see. I'm gonna make this be, I'll make it be there. And I'll pull it up a little bit more. And I'm gonna keep it like that, but I'm gonna put some padding in there so it doesn't touch the edge. All right. And we will keep that there. And I'll go back, I'll add another text box and it'll populate it automatically for me. Same size right below. I'm gonna pull it right there. Now this one's got padding. This one does not. So let me go here and let me see what the padding is for this one. This was 28. I'll make them both the same padding. 28, drag this up. And you can type it in here too. I just like to drag it for some reason. It's easier for me. All right. They said they want the top to be at a 40 size font. Okay. So I go to text box here, change this to 40. And I still would do auto size. I would say shrink to fit, but 40 is your base that you're going for. Then this one is already at 100, but I would make it be shrink to fit as well. Okay. Now we got both of those. So this one's going to say statement 1 reader. I'm going to call this one statement 1 response. All right. Now, here's what gets interesting. Now, it's set to shrink to fit, and it doesn't look much different. Oh, it didn't change. Okay, let me change this to be 40. Okay, we need that smaller. We want this at 100. When you select it, it should change. So you select that and then change the font size, okay? Now, the part of this that's going to be interesting is I've got this text box. I want to right-click on this, and I want some item actions. And we want to, my thought at least, is to reveal it on a click. That would be like the coolest thing I can think of that would be cool with this. So I'll say reveal on click, and I will right-click on this one, and item actions, reveal on a click here, okay? Now, let's see what we got. If I go to, I'm gonna right-click on this, and I'm gonna duplicate it. And it didn't duplicate. Let me duplicate again. There we go. Okay. So go there. I'm gonna call this one statement 2. Call this one response 2. All right. Now here's what that would look like. So I'm gonna clear my face out. We don't need to see me there. Oh, it's an overlay. And I think that overlay is locked. So this is another crazy thing. I got this overlay set to where it is locked. So you have to literally click on it to make it go away. If you right click on here and you can say lock to output, that means even when you hit clear all, it'll still stay there. That's just something I did as a test a while back. So you don't have to have that there. But here's the cool thing. Look, paying attention to this preview window. When I click this, it shows up. Nope, doesn't do what I want. All right, let me see here. I wanted to just do one at a time. So they both are coming in. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll have this one not be there. So I'm gonna do item actions. I'm gonna turn this reveal on click off on this top one because I want it to be there automatically. We'll say reveal on click. Okay, now we'll start over. Clear all. Select this slide. Boom. This is what your audience is gonna see. Your speaker is gonna see it, and then you click again, and now they see their response. I hit the space bar to the next slide. Oh, that actually started playing. Let me clear that out. I don't need that. So I don't need my toggle timeline on. We don't need this on. All right. Hit my space bar. It takes you to statement number 2. And hit space bar again, and it pops up statement number or response number 2. All right. So that would be my recommendation for doing something like that. And then once you have it the way you want, you can just go to templates and just drag this down as a template. I would put it into my presentations. And I don't even know what it got called. Let's see. What would it have gotten called? Probably verse 1, but I don't think it went in there. Let's see. I could drag it down in here. Yep. And so that one actually has a little bit of a background to it. I didn't even know that, but that's cool. Okay, so that would be my recommendation. Make your second one, the response, have a reveal on click option. Would be kind of cool. All right. Roger Peterson. Let's see here. Okay, let me make sure. Okay, let me see. Oh, sorry. Hey Gary, can you show us how to add transitions in overlay? Thank you. How to add transitions in an overlay. Very good question. So, Brian Matua, Lumumba, to add transitions in your overlays, you literally have to add them to the overlay items. Okay. So let me see. Got some overlays. That's an actual transition itself. Visuals. Okay, here we go. Here's some visuals. Here's one here. This is Welcome to FreeShow Friday. That's a pretty popular term these days. When I select that, you'll notice that it did that. Okay. It kind of transitioned in, faded in, and then it kind of slid in the other thing. The way that happened is if I right click on this action, I go to edit, you'll see that this transition is on the text. So if I right click on here and I go to transition, you'll see it's set to fade, the actual item itself. And then this is the actual text box, or not the text box. This is a background box. It's a text box, but it's a background box for me. And I go to the transitions on this one, you will see that it is set to slide left to right. So that means it's going to slide in like that. All right. So now when I go back to my show and I clear this out, it fades out, but it fades in and slides in. Slides in there as well. So to add transitions to your overlays, you go into your overlay and add it to each item, because it's the items are what makes the overlay. So you just add an overlay to, or a transition to each of your items by simply right clicking on it and then making a transition to it. Okay. Great question. Let's see here. Roger Peterson is from West Columbia, Texas. Welcome from West Columbia, Texas. All right. Gwirlin says, got it. Thanks. Matua Rue. I'm gonna just say Matua Rue. Thank you. Says thank you. Patrick says thanks. Awesome, you guys. All right, let's see here. Okay, Ezra from India in the house. Have you tried the paint option from the control show? It's lagging. No, I have not. The paint option from the control show, I probably would never do that. Let me see. I'm gonna pull out my phone so I can get this going. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. All right, so let me pull up my phone. And so from control show, there's a paint option. Now I'm on my home Wi-Fi. My computer is hardwired. I think I'm looking. Yep, I got it hardwired in with an Ethernet cable, and my phone, my actual router is like right here in the same room. So it's not going to be hopefully too much lag based on internet. Let's just see if the program works properly. So the question was from control show. There's a paint option. I've never even used it. Let me see. So if I go here, I'm gonna scan that QR code. Boom, bam. Okay. And now what that means, what the paint option means is I can go here, I can turn on the paint, and I can move my focus there, and I can show what I want to show. I'm just using my phone as my pointer here, and it gives me all kinds of fun stuff. But the focus is that, but the paint, don't have a clue what that does. Let's see here. Yeah, no, I don't have any lag on mine. I ain't pretty with it, but I don't have no lag either. It is likely going to be I'm gonna say a connection issue, because like I said, my connection is really strong. And or what kind of phone are you using? I'm using an iPhone 13 mini, which is not the newest phone by any means or any stretch of the imagination. It's actually probably pretty affordable as phones go these days. I got it, I don't know how many years ago, but I don't know what, I think they might be on iPhone 16, 17. I don't know. I don't keep up with iPhones. I just make sure my phone works, and that's all that matters to me, and it works. But it could be a operating system issue, but I'm gonna guess that it may be just a network issue as well. All right. Jonathan JDA777, could you show how to make it so that the functions can be set by MIDI velocity since I don't see it, so I can control the groups by MIDI? Awesome. Okay. Could you show how to make it so that the functions can be set by MIDI? So let's talk about that. And when they're talking about this idea of MIDI, I'm not even gonna act like I can explain what MIDI is, but I would say it is a way to send signals. Okay. But excuse me, in here, we got functions, but under functions specifically, what we're discussing more importantly are the actions, okay? We have timers as a part of our functions. We got variables, which are really cool, and triggers, which I've never used. So if anybody's ever used triggers, let me know. I would love to learn more about them. I think they're really designed like for like PTZ cameras and stuff like that. I just never use them, all right? But under actions, this is where you can actually do some cool stuff with MIDI. So the first thing you need to do is go to functions and select actions, and then you would do new action. Now, I don't have a MIDI controller here to like do anything, but I think I can test it out. I think we can make this work. Let me see here. So I'm gonna do, let's see, how would I do that? How would I do? I'm gonna say MIDI test. Okay. And then you would say choose action. If you've never had this set up before, this is for Jonathan. If you scroll down at the very bottom in your actions, without doing anything special, scroll down to the bottom, you'll see an option here that says emit data. When you select that, it's going to ask you, what's your emitter? Okay. This is where you get to pick your MIDI setup. Okay. Now, most likely you've not set one up before. So you would say create, and then you would name it. So I'm going to say Jonathan's. Okay. You can name it whatever you want to, and then hit the checkbox, and it's going to ask you for the type. You say MIDI, and then you pick the output. Okay. This is where you're going to actually find your actual MIDI networks. Okay. Whatever MIDI network you have, find that. I'm going to just do this one, network FreeShow. I've turned on MIDI through my computer, through Apple. They have a way to set it up. I don't know how to set it up on a Windows computer too well, but then you would dictate if it's a note on or a note off. And then you would say add here at the bottom. So these are your message templates. So you can make message templates. And so update values when receiving a MIDI input. So you can do it if you want this to do inputs. Yeah, so you can, I guess you can turn that on. I'm not sure. Update values when receiving a MIDI input. Update the values. Oh, I don't know about that one, but I know here. You can change your note. So you can change it here, just arrow up to whatever you want that to be. And it's not going up. Oh, there it is. Okay. I was like, I had to kind of finagle that. That was something I noticed the other day. Somebody told me that. Oh, I think what happened was it moves on you. So you go up here, it moved the whole toggle. So you got to make sure you keep clicking up so you can change the note. So the note is down here. You'll see that there. The note, the number 3 is there. That's something that you might see on some of your programs, depending on what you use. But you also can see the actual note itself here. Okay. I don't know what the E-2, whatever that means. Okay. The velocity is here as well. What I've learned with FreeShow is you want to make sure your velocity is at least at 10. I've not seen it work well with anything below 10, but you might make the velocity be 127. I was working with somebody, their velocity was 127. All right. And then you got the channel. You pick your channel that you want to use, just turn it whatever you want to. And then you will have your MIDI cue here, channel 1, note E-2. And then, and like I said, forgive me if I'm not saying that right, you guys. And then the velocity is 127. Right. And you name that whatever you want. So you might call this one, I don't know, next slide. Let's call it that. All right. So I can go back. So I can lock that in and go back. So I got my next slide one here. Okay. I can make another one and make it be something else. Okay. So now I've got that done. That's just the setup. Now I close that and I come back and I say, I want to do a new action and I want to choose. So I'm going to call this one next slide by MIDI. Say choose action. And I got show. I got option to start a show, to clear, to output audio timers. You're not going to see anything that's really useful for you here and at the base level related to your shows. But if you hit this option up here that says more options, a little eyeball, you'll see now it does a whole nother set of things. Okay, so you can do projects. So you can open up a certain project at an index. Okay, so an actual project with the certain, I think the item in that project. So the actual show in that project, or the next project item. So the index and the item, you have to figure that out. I'm not sure what the difference is, but I'm thinking it has to do with the index is how many items it is into the show, and the item has to do with the actual number of shows are in it, like the show represents an item. I'm not sure. But the show down here, this is a let's see, a set. No, open show with a name. You can start a show, set a template, next slide timer, transpose up and down, transpose up and down. But then this slide option, we get this. So you can play a slide at an index, play a random slide, play slide with a name, or play a specific group. This is what you'd asked about. Play a specific group. You can make that be that. But I said this is a next slide MIDI cue, so I can select next slide. And then let's see here. That's not what I want to do. Let me go here to emit data. I pick emitter, and I would select my Jonathan. Sorry, and then set custom value, and I pick the next slide one. And let's see here. That's the next slide. Yeah, so you would dictate what it's going to do. Let me think about this. Hold on. I just got myself caught up. But you would go in and you would select your emit data, and then you would pick your emitter. But I'm trying to think about how to make it do that that option you want. So this is the piece here. Preview is going to send that signal. If I hit add, it's just going to bring me back here. That's not going to do it. Oh, Jonathan, I'm thinking now. Let me think. I think I called it next slide with MIDI. Okay, next slide by MIDI. Let me right click and edit that. But you can do your data. I'm trying to think about what MIDI will do in terms of, because I just set this up with somebody, what's today? Friday? I set this up with somebody yesterday for their lighting, and they were using MIDI. And they did all those MIDI cues. But for what you're talking about, it depends on the program you have. So for lighting, what they were doing is they were actually setting this up to send a signal, right? They were actually using it to send a signal out. But for you, you're trying to use a MIDI cue to go to a certain group, and you're trying to trigger it from another device, right? So you wouldn't be using an emitter. You would probably do some type of slide action. If I go to slide action and you say start action, it gives you some options here. And no, not start action. Right click, let me see. There we go. Activate on a MIDI signal. So there's this option here to activate on a MIDI signal. And then you would pick that, is what I'm thinking you would need to do. I have to think about that, Jonathan, because I don't know what you're starting with. Let me see if you made any comments in here. Can you show how to make it so that functions can be set by MIDI velocity so I can control the groups by MIDI? Control the groups by MIDI. So that means when you say control the groups by MIDI, you're trying to control FreeShow from a MIDI signal from somewhere else, right? And so this is the signal that would dictate that. So you'll pick your output, your input here. So it's coming from somewhere, whatever that network device is you're using, and then you'll pick the note on the note and the velocity of the channel. But I don't know how to do that for an incoming signal with an action unless it's a trigger. Let's see, maybe it's a trigger. Let me see, new trigger. The value, no, that wouldn't be it either. Because that would be more like a trigger is what I'm thinking, is what I'm saying. But Yeah, I'm not sure about that. That's a good question, my friend. That's a very good question. Um, I need more details. I need more details about that, Jonathan. Gwirlin says, question, is there a way to, I'm guessing you're saying to edit several shows in bulk? Gwirlin, let me know. Or to lock an entire show category. I remember that this option was available before, but I am not sure if they removed this option. To lock an entire show category, yes. But I don't know, what's this? Is there a way to, maybe you saying to lock several shows? So let's talk about how you can lock your shows, all right? If I go to shows here, we got categories, okay? If I right click on this, it gives you some options to actually edit these, but it's not showing up everything. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right, let's right click here. So we can mark it as an archive. You don't want to do that unless you don't want those to show up in your search, okay? Marking it as an archive makes it to where it's not available in the search, but they're still there, okay? Category actions are really cool. Category template, that doesn't have anything to do with what you're talking about. The best way I can think to lock a show is to basically make it uneditable, okay? And so to do that, I would go up here to my settings, and you would go to profiles. Now, for your admin, I don't think you should lock anything, okay? But you can notice here, I got Campus 1, Campus 2, Campus 3, and I got this training one, right? So let's say these were volunteers. Volunteers at Campus 1, volunteers at Campus 3. My volunteers at Campus 1, I want them to only be able to read the shows, but not edit any of them, okay? But I can do that. Or I can say, hey, you know what? I want them to, it actually, let me see, if I go to right. Oh, I had some of these locked up to where they can't even see them, right? But you can say, okay, I want them to just be able to read. So it moves whatever they could edit over to the view only. So in your profiles, all of your categories will be here from your actual shows. You can make every one of them just be read only, okay? And so there's not a quick and easy way to reset this, but I can just select these manually. So I did it manually earlier. It keeps the ones that I locked off from being visible. These are, when you put this little circle with the X on it, means they can't even see it there, right? But I can go here to right, and it keeps the settings. Anything I do manually, it keeps it there. And then I can go to read, but you can do that for any of these. So you can change those, and even you can do that with your projects. So if you got certain projects that you don't want to be seen or to just be not editable, but visible, you can do that here as well. And then just let that person select their preview or their view that they want. So when you go out, I don't know how to go out of FreeShow to get to the main page outside of just closing it out. So I'm gonna close this and let you guys see. So I'm gonna say save and quit. And what happens if I open up FreeShow, and some of you guys, let me know if you guys are using profiles in the chat. Let me know, is anybody using profiles? So I got mine set right now to show me when there's a new beta version. So I'm gonna close it out. I've already downloaded it. I just haven't used it. You'll see something like this where you'll see all your profiles. The only one you can put a password on right now is the admin. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your volunteers will have to just use the honor system. So they say, I'm Campus 1. Perfect. Okay, Campus 1. This is what you get to see. And they get to see whatever you let them see. Okay. Same way here. They can go here. But notice it doesn't let them add a new category. So they can't edit the categories, right? If I right click on this, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't let me edit the songs. It just lets me see the songs. So I can select them, but I cannot right click and change anything. It's gone away. Okay. I can't add a new category or anything like that. So that's what I would say when you say, you use the word lock an entire show category. Absolutely. That would be the way you do it. Okay. If I had any of these to be editable, which I don't remember if I did any of them, and it'll, I don't even know if you can tell. I think I made them all uneditable, and I made it to where you can't even see the profile section on here. So that's another thing you can do. You can literally lock out certain aspects of the settings that you just don't need them to have access to. All right. So it's a really cool administrative approach to using FreeShow. Now, say administrative in a sense, as a media leader, you got to know how to use that. Okay. Got to manage your profiles. So I'm gonna go back in and be an admin. And you saw what they could do and couldn't do in terms of when you right click, it doesn't let you do anything. But if I go back into my settings up here and I go to profiles, Campus 1, let me see if I give them access to edit any shows. So no shows are editable. So let's say I wanted to say they can edit the scriptures. Oh, I got to make it to where it's active to write. And I can make these all uneditable, but I'll make scriptures able to be edited. And now I can save that. I'll do Command S to just save that real quick. Close this out. Come back into FreeShow. And we'll be able to see the difference here is what I want to make sure you guys are able to see. All right. I'm just bringing it back in. Close that out. Campus 1. Scripture doesn't look any different, but I can go to it and I can right click and I can edit this. If I go to presentations, however, and I right click, it doesn't give me any menu options. Okay. So that's literally how simple it is. And they can even add a new category. So I can add a new category here because I don't have everything as read only. I don't have the whole section as read only. They can write some categories. So I'm going to say, I'm just call it profile for now. I don't have a new name for it. All right. But they can do that and they can add a new show to it and all that kind of stuff because I didn't lock off the whole songs. I didn't lock down, every category in songs. So since they can edit one thing, they can add a new category to make new ones. Okay. Just as a FYI. All right. Let me go back out so I can actually do other things if I need to based on questions you guys have. And open FreeShow back up. Oh, all right. Let's see. So let me know if that makes sense to you, my friend. Okay, let's see here. Oh, okay. So Ezra said there was no lag on the output, but on the phone? No, I didn't have any lag on my phone either. Yeah, so that could just be an operating system issue, right? Depending on the RAM and all that kind of stuff available in your phone, potentially. That'd be my best guess, but I didn't run into any issues on it. Like I said, I got a small, older phone, so it's not super special or super cool. It's just, but it's an iPhone. So I would say iPhones for me have proven to be much more reliable than my Android phones. But that's just my own experience. Let's see here. It's Munchkin says, hey, anyone has a repository of worship songs, text files? That's a really cool question. I think we've had that question come up in the community before. It's definitely worth asking. Every ministry is going to be unique in that. So that's totally up to you guys if you want to make that available. The best way though, too, is Munchkin. You know, you can go to your shows and just make a new show and do a web search for any title you want. That would be a quick way to do it. All right, let's see here. Patrick UV, time management. Is it possible to have a slide that shows the participants whether we are ahead of schedule or not? My friend Patrick, you are thinking in a way that I love. So here's what I would tell you. I just came out with a new system. Okay. If you go to GaryBJr.com, you'll find that I have a new media system that I just created called Sunday Launch. And it's designed to help prepare you to get started with FreeShow with the base level, like in 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute video with a download that you would actually set up and it'll be customized to meet your needs. And then the mid-tier level is called Sunday Confidence. The first one's called Blueprint. The next one's called the Confidence System. And it's designed to help you get started. You would download it. And then it'll give you a tutorial on how to set it up and or customize that setup for that system if you want to as well. And that one's based on stage displays, actually, right? And then the final or the highest tier is going to be called the automation system. And it's a download and there's a video tutorial on what you've got in that download that completely automates your stage display. Even if you don't have a stage display, they're really useful because you can make it, all of those stage displays in that system are remote controllable to where they have buttons on them where you can hit next slide and previous slide and all that kind of stuff. So your pastor can just have a tablet, even if they don't have a stage display in the church. If you don't have one, you still can use those, the confidence system and or the automation system and still have your pastor use that and they can see their notes or the scriptures or the text or whatever they want to on their tablet or a computer and still control it. And they can control the slides, or you as a media leader can step out the booth and do the same thing. So that's one thing. Now, the basis of it, the blueprint of it is exactly what you just described. And we've talked about this on In the Lab a while back. Let me see if I got it in the lab. In the lab. I'm not sure what day it was. It might have been on the 1st. Here we go. So here's an idea. All right. So you can set up your project. Okay. So this is a project. It's called 3-1. So it's from March 1, 2026. On your project, you can make sections. So on this little plus sign down here, I'm in 159. I'm in FreeShow 159. Okay. One of the latest it's the latest stable version to date. And today's the 20th. 160 beta is in, it's accessible right now. So this will be effective in that one as well. I think this was available in 158, but I can't remember. But the idea of a new section is available in every FreeShow version I've ever used. And that's been for the past over a year, almost a year and a half now. Okay. But you can make a new section. And so right now I got this one saying 620. I can click on this new section I've already created. It says intro slide 6:20 a.m. And right now the time is 12:29. So I'm gonna say instead of it being 6:20, I'm gonna make it be at 12:30 p.m. All right. And notice here, it'll actually give you a countdown of how many seconds you have before that's going to happen. I'll make this happen at 12:45 p.m. And then I'll make this one happen at 12:59 p.m. Okay. And all I'm doing is selecting my headers. All right. And so, or my section, my sections, I should say. All right. So talking points is going to be at that time. And then this particular header, it has begun, or it's going to begin in 14 minutes and 40 seconds. Okay. So that would be the best way I would say is use your sections by just simply create a new section by hitting new section here. And this one, I'm going to call it closing. I don't have anything here that says closing. All right. So I got a section called closing. Now it's completely black. So I'll right click on it and I'll change the color. I want it to be red. I need to say, hey, I'm closing out. So I close it out. And this in the lab ports is going to be up here. All right. But my closing, I want that to happen at, hit the wrong thing. There we go. I want my closing to happen at 1, not 10, 01 p.m. All right. And now you'll see that there. So what you got is the time for your first section of your meeting, the time for the next section, the time for the next section, and the next section. This is going to always be visible, but whatever section or whatever time you have here is going to automatically show wherever that time frame is that you're in terms of sections. It'll show you how much it is or how much time you have before it starts. Okay. So we're at the 12:30 section right now. This section should be starting in 13 minutes is what it's showing you, right? And your color scheme is going to dictate what these look like. My color scheme is what it is. So it may be a little bit difficult to see with that color. So I could right click on that and make this be, I don't know if yellow looks better. Let's see. Yellow might look a little better. Depends on what you want, right? So you can make these a color scheme in your church or something like that. But hopefully that makes sense, Patrick, for time management. And you can take it a step further and you can add these items to your stage display. So here's a sample of what it might look like on a stage display. This is an example of what the automation system looks like here. Okay. So this is called the scripture stage. So I'll go to show and go to my settings and I'll add in my outputs. I'm going to create my stage here. And I'll pick my scripture stage. Actually, I can pick any of these because they all are pretty much going to show me. So I got teaching, worship. We'll do the worship stage. All right. And I'll enable that. And now notice here, it shows 12 minutes until start show. Now, the reason why it says start show is because that's what the next header section is. And this is all a part of the confidence system that I've created and or the automation system that I've created. This is all, it'll all be built in and preset and pre-made for you. All you would do is go in here and make your changes to your times for your particular ministry. Okay. And each ministry is going to be unique. All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Patrick. All right. Tiffany, I'm sorry. During a service with playback, the WL controls the track. What's the WL? And flow of a song, while the guide tells musicians what section to play during a live service. Can FreeShow follow via MIDI? Man, what's a WL? So Tiffany, let me see what your other question was to go back. I'm trying to see what WL means. Somebody help me out. to use playback with FreeShow. Thank you for your response. Oh, worship leader. Got you. Thanks, Larry. I just didn't go all the way down far enough. Tiffany already put it in there. Perfect. Okay. So let me go to your question again. Okay. During a service with playback, the worship leader controls the track and flow of a song. Oh, while the guide tells the musicians what section to play during a live service. Mm, they control the track. So I'm just not musical enough to know what that means. Oh man, I'm falling off a cliff on that one, man. I don't know, Tiffany, what they control the track. So I've never played an instrument in my life. So I don't know what that looks like and how that works, but I know what you're saying. I haven't been a part of a ministry where the worship leader did control the tracks. So I know that. I just don't know what they were doing. I left it completely up to them. They just did it. They were doing it from the computer, and that was all I do. But the issue, not the issue, the difference was there were no other musicians there. We just had a keyboard. Sometimes we had a drummer, and other times we didn't. Okay, so they would control it. Okay, to play during a live track, can FreeShow follow via MIDI? Um, potentially, potentially it could follow via MIDI. Yes, I just got to think about how. So MIDI is coming from somewhere else, so it's an input. So that goes back to what I was doing or saying earlier. This is let's see. There's some points. Okay, so with MIDI, I know you can right click. Is it weird? Does anybody else feel like these slides are slanted? I was looking at them. I'm like, are they slanted and like skewed? But this little background makes it look like everything is slanted to me. Sorry, I just kind of got confused there, discombobulated. But as I said earlier, you can right click on any slide, and I know you can activate a slide on MIDI, on a MIDI signal. Okay. And so technically, I don't think you can do that with a group, but these are my groups. I don't have any special groups, but they would be like courses and stuff like that. If I right click on this, lock for editing, select all, it doesn't let me pick it for that. So I don't know if you can universally control it via MIDI, but you definitely can control it via MIDI. But it seems like it would have to be per show as opposed to per group or per slide. I'm sorry, instead of per group. And that's where I think it may not be useful, but maybe you guys do that already. So tell me, in what program are you using right now where you do that, Tiffany? Are you using ProPresenter? And I'm gonna say, let's see. You got some details. I didn't even keep reading. Let me see. Like if they go back to a verse or skip a bridge, is there a way for the FreeShow can follow the worship leader's flow? I'm sorry to keep bringing up playback. Looking to switch from okay, using ProPresenter. Makes sense. Okay. My question is, can you tell me how to do that in ProPresenter? Like, what's the program that you're using as the intermediary to do that? Because I'm sure it's just a gap in me not having that musical background. That's where I'm guessing it's falling short. I'm sure FreeShow can. I don't say I'm sure. I'm pretty sure FreeShow can do it. I just don't know the ins and outs, just because I've never been a worship leader for one, and I've never worked with that type of hardware or software to make that work. And I'm just not sure. Okay. So Gerlin says lock several shows at once. Got you. Gerlin, did I answer your question earlier? Let me know if that made sense. I don't see any other comments from you. Let's see. Jonathan, and in the groups, how would I go directly to the bridge group? Yeah, since in the group, if I create bridge 2, it looks like strange when putting automatic group. Yeah. I'm guessing, Jonathan, you're piggybacking off of what Tiffany is saying, I think. Let me make sure. Make it so that functions. Okay. Oh no, you asked the same thing. Yeah, we might have to have a side huddle or something so I can see what you guys are doing and how you guys are doing that in ProPresenter, and then I can translate, because I just don't know where to put that functionality, if that makes sense. Like if I go to edit here, So reach out to me on my website. Go to my website, start a chat or something like that, and we can coordinate, or send me an email and we can try to coordinate to figure out what that looks like. I'm very curious. In here, there's no options for that, but to receive a MIDI signal, FreeShow can do that. And what I'm guessing is there's some type of code coding that I don't use, that I don't know how to do, but there's got to be a way to do it. There's a way to do it, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is. All right. I need more insight of how ProPresenter does it. All right. Let's see here. I use worship song band for MIDI and wanted to go to the group, since that way I only have to edit the groups and not do everything manually. Yeah. Okay. And so my guess is that particular, here's what I'm guessing. So here's what I'm thinking, you guys. Those programs have MIDI cues set up with an actual note. What you would need to do is set up that same action in ProPresenter and tie it to that MIDI cue. That's my guess. That's what I need to see. That's why I say that. So yes, it's definitely doable. It seems actually pretty easy. Basically, we're using the tracks only for a pad and for the automation. So nothing is really set in stone, but since the worship leader is controlling the flow, playback sends MIDI and tells FreeShow play this. Yeah, but that program has the MIDI signal that it's sending, right? And so yeah. I'm trying to think about who's talking to who in that equation. Because, like, for example, with lighting programs, you're sending the signal out from FreeShow to tell the lights to do something. But you guys are using a program to tell FreeShow to do something, and that's where I get lost. I'm not going to act like I know exactly how that works, but there's a way to do it, I'm sure. I was thinking about locking the shows in the admin profile. Okay, Gwendolyn, yes, you can do that. You can lock the shows in the admin profile. You can go in there to the profiles and say admin. Well, no, look, I guess not. Nah, it don't even give you. So admin is never going to let you restrict anything. So you would still have to make a separate profile if you want to be able to lock the shows. Tell me what your reasoning is behind locking the shows. Gwendolyn, let me know. Tifferen said, yeah. Okay. Tifferen says, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Send me that email. We have to talk about that offline, Tifferen. Just to see if there's a way. And then if I don't know it, and like, it's not likely. I'm not going to act like I know it off the top of my head, but that might be something we can talk with Christopher about, or others in the community might have that answer. I just have never done it just because I'm not actually in a physical church. I've been doing a lot of things online, but the setup, like I said, I'm assuming that it's possible. Okay. But Gwendolyn, let me know what you're thinking about with the admin profile being locked. What's that about? What's the end goal with it is what I want to know. All right, you guys, what other questions come up? This has been fun. It's 12:42 right now. I'm waiting on, like I said, if Gwendolyn MJ can give me something, I'll be happy to see if we can figure that out. I think we've got all the questions answered as best I can. Somebody let me know if I missed anything. Worship band for MIDI. Lock several shows at once. Oh, wait. Gwendolyn, were you talking about several slides? So you can lock slides, if that makes sense. So you can go over here, you can lock a whole project. So you can lock it for editing to where it won't be edited. Let me see. A song will make more sense. Let me do a song. Let's just make sure. Okay, so this song has verse 1, verse 2, chorus, and all that good stuff. Okay, so I'll go to that. All right. So I can go here and I can lock verse 1. Right click on it and say lock for editing. And so now verse 1 has a little lock on it. And so I can still use it. I can go to it and all that kind of stuff. But I can't right click on this and edit anything. Notice over here, it's all locked. Okay. Let me see if it'll let me type. It will let me type something. I can type over it, but I can't like change any of the other pieces of it, right? In terms of the box and all that kind of stuff. Let me see. Tifferen, go to GaryBJr.com. That would be the best way. And you can just send me a message there at the bottom corner. And then you could even put your email in there if you want to. If you're not on my mailing list, like I said, you won't have my email, but you should be able to send a message no matter what on that messaging part, just in the bottom right corner there. Okay. Can you create files to programs? So in some programming language to execute it. Possibly. Look, possibly, Jonathan. I'm not gonna act like I know how to do any programming. But I'm sure you can. Look, I'm sure you can. I just don't know how to do it because I'm not a programmer or a coder or anything like that. If you go to the Reddit page, you might get some feedback there, or I know FreeShow has a Slack channel for coding and developers and stuff like that. Okay. Tiffany says, so the way it works is that playback from multi-tracks uses MIDI to tell ProPresenter what song in the playlist and what lyrics to play using MIDI G1, but the velocity 0 to 127 picks the lyrics. Okay. Yeah, I would love to see how that works, Tiffany. So what I would say is once you send me that message, we'll coordinate and maybe we can just get some time together offline and you can walk me through what it looks like on your end, and then I can mirror it or at least give you some feedback on what I would do on my end, and we can share screens and kind of figure that out together. Just as a troubleshooting discussion, it wouldn't necessarily be a consultation, right? But consultations I do charge, but this would be more of a figuring it out together. Basically, it's a translation session. Let me put it that way. Okay. Tony Mobley in the house. Great session. Tony, I didn't miss your message, man. I just haven't had time to look at it yet, my friend. I appreciate you sending that to me. Glad that you got to join us today, my friend. Glad you got to join us. And like I said, Tony, I had you in mind when I made those systems. So check out GaryBJr.com, those media systems. That blueprint system, Tony, I think is going to give you guys a good head start on how to get started using FreeShow. For anybody looking to start using FreeShow, go to GaryBJr.com and select media systems and just look at it and see. You can get those. I know the blueprint is available for 25% off right now. Let's see here. Try using different velocities in FreeShow, but it didn't work the same since the note itself stays the same. Make sure if you're doing the velocities, you can do it. But you also can change other things. You can change the channel and all that stuff. But if you want to do the same note and same velocity or same channel, make the velocity be at least 10. That's what I would say. Start at 10 in FreeShow. That's one thing that I've noticed is that it doesn't really respond too well if it's less than 10 from what I've seen. And that was with a lighting program. So maybe I say respond. It doesn't, that was sending a signal. So it may be the same receiving one too. I don't know. This live was incredibly helpful. Glad it was, Tiffany. Glad it was. You guys had some awesome questions today. I got to answer most of them. Like I said, my goal is to answer every question, but I know I'm not 100% gonna know everything. But at the same time, everything I do know, I'm willing to share with you guys. And you guys are awesome. Keep using FreeShow. Keep asking questions on the videos I post. But FreeShow Friday is going to be just for that. If you want to see more of my methodology, my mindset of how to make the most out of FreeShow, feel free to jump in the lab. In the lab is where I kind of do my best to break FreeShow. It's not a lot of Q&A with it, but you can because it's live. So you can ask questions and people tend to. But I usually will come into that particular show with my own plan of what I plan to talk about. So it's the other way around, right? Today, I didn't come in with anything to talk about. No plans. The only thing I'll usually talk about are updates from questions that came in through YouTube. And I don't think I had any. There were some thank yous in YouTube, but I don't think there were any questions. Let me double check that before I let you guys go. Let me go to my channel real quick. Okay, let's go here and unresponded, no, and sort by newest. Okay, here's the questions that I got. And I think there's not many questions here, but Somebody said, thank you. They helped me learn a lot. This was to a poll that I sent out. So if you guys want to know about some things, so my next Free Show Friday, my in the lab, I'm sorry, got I had my power went out because we had like a very windy day and it was kind of a big bad storm that morning. But usually in the lab is at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time on Monday mornings. And I was talking about doing a performance comparison, just checking out different ways and seeing and measuring what the performance does on my computer with the RAM, the RAM, the GPU, and different things that you do in Free Show and OBS. So it's going to kind of be a combination of those. Let's see here. Somebody said I'm using the 159 version. Is not providing any items or other so that I can make overlays as you explained in this video, but it's not working. Can you tell me why? And I just said that the video's old, a year old, is still relevant. You may need to go to your overlay tab and right click on the blank space at the bottom and select reset defaults. This could bring the default options you see in the video. Okay, so this person was saying they don't see they can make overlays as I explained in the video. Okay. In this video, this is an overlays video, really helpful if you want to get to know. Let's see, please repeat your link. Oh man, I have to write it down. My link, let me see. Thank you. Show me something that I can implement with MIDI. Thank you very much. Okay. So Tony says the link. I'm thinking you're talking about, are you talking about Gary B. Jr., Tony? Let me see. Let me see if I can pull it up. GaryBJr.com. I'll just pull it up here so you guys can see. All right. So from here, just select Media Systems, and you will see the Media Systems page. And this is GaryBJr.com Media Systems. So I'll just paste this in there for you guys. I think I can paste it over here. Okay. Yeah. So that will get you to the page, and it's called the Sunday Launch Edition, and it just walks you through some reasons why this exists, and then it goes through and you can see the actual items. These items, the actual systems themselves are actual downloads that you would download to Free Show, whether it's a project, whether it's a stage layout setup, or it's a full overhaul of Free Show. Okay, so you need to back up everything if you're going to download the automation system, which is the biggest package, or the biggest system. You can download that, and what it does is it literally changes your categories, your actions, your stages, your templates, and all that kind of stuff. It's really good for those who are switching and coming over from another platform. Initially, if you already been using Free Show quite a bit, I would say make sure you back up your shows. If you back up your shows, that's pretty much all you really need, but you might need to back up everything. If you want to recreate some of your actions that you've had in the past or something like that, you can do that and then recreate those. But that would be what these are designed to do. And so I don't even know if the pricing on here is up to date, because I've been using some, so here's the pricing here for those, and shows our philosophy and all that kind of stuff. But there's the blueprint, the confidence, and the automation system. All right. Definitely check them out. When you go into them, you'll see what's included with it is the download. And then in each download, there's going to be, so in here, this is the blueprint project. It actually is a video tutorial on how to set it up. Okay. This is for churches looking to start with Free Show for the first time. And if you go back to that main page, you can get that blueprint system for 25% off. Okay. That's available now. 25% off. Just click that button there and it'll take you there to get it. And you can get that item. All right. I think it's going to be a great start for anybody looking to get started with Free Show. All right. So this person was asking about overlays. Let me jump back in. Asking about overlays. In my video, I talked about some different settings and things like that in overlays. They were saying they don't see anything that I explained. And I'm not going to say that I understand why. The only thing I can think of is that there are some default overlays in Free Show. And so if I go to overlays, there's some default ones here. But if you right click here, there's an option that says reset defaults. Okay. If you've deleted everything, you can still reset your defaults, and everything that has a little shield will come back. So these little rounded and recording and all those will come right back. Okay. That's my guess is what they had an issue with, or what was their issue. Someone asked how to integrate PowerPoint with animation. So as far as I know, my answer to them was, I don't think there's a way to bring in animation. This is for Noise Keyboy. And then the other one was Rocky Pro 5803. Just a big shout out to you guys. Whenever you leave me a comment, this was Jonna Bundy 7516 saying thank you for your tutorials. They've helped me learn a ton about FreeShow. Big shout out to you guys. And this Tifferent, my friend Tifferent, Tiffany and Laurent. I love that. I love that. All right. But when it comes to PowerPoint animation, you can bring in the items. We looked at this last week. So if you want to know about PowerPoint, we got some in live, like somebody sent me a file live and I was able to pull it in, import it into FreeShow. And it does give you your text separate and your slides or your backgrounds separate, right? So you can literally edit your text if you import a PowerPoint now, which is really cool, which may have been the case before. I just never had a PowerPoint to do with. I think in the past, you used to always have to convert it to be like an image or a PDF or something like that. But now you can edit that and then you can just add your own transitions, okay, to your text in the program itself. That would be the best way I would recommend, all right? And then Tifferent asked about the multi-tracks. I think you asked all those questions in the meeting live today, so that's pretty cool. Okay, not sure what you mean by recording the timeline. We talked about that. Let me see here. Do you have a video on that, or would you mind explaining it a bit further? So the video is coming out. It's been a hectic couple of weeks. It's been a hectic 2026 for me, you guys. But I've been working hard on that automation. Not the automation, but that Sunday launch system has been something I've been spending a lot of my downtime doing, and I haven't been able to. I've been recording videos. I just haven't had time to edit them all. All right. This was 4 days ago. It's about smart templates. This is a really cool video. Somebody said, "Nice work you're doing, sir. Please continue the good work." Blessing to Shotar1 or Shatar. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but thank you so much. Smart templates are really cool. You guys make sure to check those out. We talked about the conditions. This is where you'll find those in that smart templates video. Really, really cool video. All right. Jerome Goulet says, I use this setup in Windows PC. An invisible window keeps showing up and messes my display every time I start FreeShow. Wish I could show you a picture. So they actually sent me a message on my website, sent me an email with what they were dealing with. And the issue that they were having was when they were going into their settings and we're going to outputs. And if I go to primary here and they select this, they had to keep setting this up. And on a Windows computer, I'm not sure what would cause that or what would cause it to do that. They said even when they hit lock, but I was asking, do they disconnect the computer from their setup and then reconnect it? The only other thing I can think about is that there's something that's causing that. But I know for me on my Apple computer, it's always the same. These always remain where they are, and it always defaults to wherever I last set it. So I don't usually have that problem. I've never run into that problem. So I'm not sure what was causing that for our friend there. But if you guys have run into that, let me know. But I couldn't explain. They had like 5 different screens laid out on the side here. And then there was one here that just kept going to that was not even there anymore. And typically what that means is that that particular screen was plugged into in a different way and or selected at one point and no longer there. And so it's still remembering that particular screen. And it was I call it a phantom screen, but it was a screen at some point or another, right? So just I was thinking the cords got rearranged from the disconnect and reconnect, and or they have that set up in another space. It could be, right? They could have multiple computers set up in another space in a different arrangement and it's remembering it that way, but I couldn't really help them figure that out. So I wish I could help. All right, here's another question here. I have a question: how to delete something and make it disappear from the cloud too? Because as of now, let's see. This was on a video called Church Media Hack, Expand Your Computer Displays for More Outputs. So if you have a computer that's limited, which everybody does with the outputs, every computer has a limit on outputs. No matter if it's a PC that you built yourself, or if it's an Apple computer, no matter what, you can use this device or some devices like it. Like I said, this device is like $100. That's kind of my budget when it comes to the type of churches that I've worked with in the past. But there are some churches that are much larger and they use thousands of dollars worth of devices, right? So you can spend a few $1,000s and get a device that does this as well, that offloads the processing power from your computer. And you can do that as well. But sorry, that's my wife texting me. Let me send it. Let me see here. Let me see if I can answer her real quick, you guys. Let me see something. When she asked, it made me start thinking about it. Hold on. Okay. And so This device allows you to do it for $100. It does get hot. Somebody told me that had a Windows computer. They said it didn't work for them. I've only had that happen or heard that once, but I, like I said, I don't. In terms of them, they were the only ones I've had where that didn't work. But I've had a number of folks download this particular device, and it works just fine. I'm actually using it right now to connect my screens. I use it all the time. I use it every day actually, and it stays warm, but it's passively cooled. But it does rely on your computer's processor. But if you spend another, $1,000 or so, you can get another device, like a Decklink card from Black Magic, that'll allow you to do that, and it'll also include like a little fan and a processor. But you have to buy a device to hold that, or put it into the back of your PC. You can access that, but it also requires you to get I think they all require you to get like SDI cables, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that. So this is a more costly device. This is a cheaper one that runs on HDMI. So if your setup is using HDMI only, this might be a good solution for you. Definitely check it out. If you use the link to it in my video there, I think it is what they call an affiliate link. So you can definitely use that. I would love that. But even if you don't, that device is there. Just get it. It's really useful. I think it's really helpful. The cloud sync video. Somebody said, okay, how do I delete how to delete something and make it disappear from the cloud too? Because as of now, if I delete a show and click on sync now, it just comes back. Okay, so here's the answer to that. You guys might be running into this. You're saying, hey, I deleted something on here, but it keeps coming back. So here's the deal. You would need to back up everything first, okay? And then disconnect from the cloud and then reconnect to the cloud. So to disconnect from your cloud, you would go to your files and you would, if you're connected here, you would, connect to it by logging in. You'll see something like this to log in. Log into it. Once you log in, it's going to pop up and say, what do you want to do? Do you want to merge? Do you want to, I think the option is read only, but there's an option at the top that gives you a pop-up. Let me see if I can do this without messing up anything on my end, because it is true. It does do that. I think it's Gary at here. I'm trying to put in my password here to show you guys with this cloud sync option. It's really cool. Let me allow it. Okay, so from here, you get this pop-up that comes up every time you reconnect. Okay, what you want to do is go up here after you've backed up everything that you've got on your computer, and change it from merge, because merging is just keeping the latest changes from both the cloud and local. So the cloud had that file. You might delete it off your computer, but when you sync, it's going to bring that file back. Okay. Read only merges with the cloud data, but it never uploads. Okay. Not real helpful, but it can work, but it's just bringing stuff down from the cloud, which is where that stuff is. But this one, upload, replace cloud data with local data initially, and then merge normally after that. This is what you would need to do. You would need to clear that out of the cloud. So the way to do that is you got to upload what you have on your computer right now, and now the cloud will be updated. Okay. Otherwise, the cloud is going to hold some files that you've deleted off your computer, and every time you merge, it's going to bring those files right back. Okay. Which makes sense. That's what it's designed to do. All right. I'm going to cancel for now. But that was the answer to their question. All right. And then 8 days ago, I think we already talked about this. Let's say super, add to shorts as well. Set up and manage lower thirds. I think I get this. I think they're saying I should add this to shorts. I should add this live stream lower thirds with OBS to a shorts. That makes sense now. Thanks a lot. And that was okay. So the question was altruistic 1817 for the cloud sync. Hopefully that makes sense, my friend. And then Jeremy Ugle, we talked about that. Okay, cool. Jeremy Goulet, sorry. All right, let's see here. Gorlin says, I tried to use NDI decoders to connect to the screens. I could connect 4 screens without any issues or lag. So what are NDI decoders, Gorlin? What is that? Oh, are you talking about the little, what's that company? What's the company that makes those? I think I know what you're talking about. I'm looking it up now. Let's see here. NDI to HDMI decoder. Which brand did you get, Gorlin? I'm curious now. I want to know. I see some stuff here. All right, so Bird Dog makes some. That one's discontinued. This is one here. If I go back up, so this is one, a CND Live NDI Go NDI to HDMI decoder. Interesting. And so supports high bandwidth NDI, and then X2, HX3, NDI to 4K 60 HDMI decoder. Seems cool enough. And let's see, we got HDMI or USB in the front, and then local area network drive here, which is power over internet or Ethernet, and then they got the DC cable. So I'm guessing you can pick one of those, power on or off, and then the HDMI cable. This one seemed to be the most affordable option. Grilling, was it this one? Look, which one did you get? You got the this is a Magwell Pro Convert NDI to HDMI. This one's about 3 times as much. Looks about the same though, right? HDMI out. The Bird Dog Flex. Okay, let's check that out. Bird Dog Flex. And Grilling, are you using a Apple or a Windows computer? Let's see here. Let's see if I can find it. I might not have spelled it right. Okay, I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Bird Dog Flex. So they're discontinued here. Where'd you get this Bird Dog Flex? Let me see if I can find one online somewhere. Okay, so here's one for 400. Here's another one. Okay. There's a few of them that you can find. So this one's a 4K. Let's see. Is it available? So they don't even have it. No longer available here. What does that base look like? What's the base at the bottom of there for like that? Oh, MP battery mount. Oh, okay. This is an actual, what do you call it? Portable? Okay. DC in, DC out, HDMI in, PoE. So you still have to, okay. That's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. I see you, Gorlin. I see you. On Windows. Nice. It converts NDI feed to HDMI. Absolutely. I love that. Okay. Perfect. So for those who are looking for something, Gorlin says he's using. How far of a distance are you using these, Gorlin? Like, what's the benefit for you? Like, I'm guessing it has to do with long distances, right? That's pretty helpful. Let me know. Okay. Yeah, I think I got all of the questions answered here. Okay. I love that though. I love that. Bird Dog Play, NDI to HDMI. A player connects NDI network via Ethernet. Auto displays NDI streams as thumbnails. Interesting. Oh, found some on eBay for $150. Now that's a steal. Okay. Let's see. Let me do a search for Bird Dog Flex. Yeah, eBay, they done went up, my friend. They have gone up. Okay. Yeah, they all about 400 now. You got a good deal. Like I said, I was looking at the rates for like CF Express cards. Oh my goodness, you guys. They were like doubled and tripled in terms of the cost. I already got a couple of them, but I use them on my GH6. And goodness, and even SD cards. I think they've gone up. I haven't looked at those too much lately, but yeah, things are changing. Things are changing, you guys. So whatever you got, make the most of it. Bless you guys. Thank you all for joining again. I think I've answered all the questions I can, but let me know if anything else comes up. You guys send me a message. I'll be happy to help. And until next time, have a great rest of the day. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in an amazing way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like, subscribe, and I think that's great. And there's one way that you can really help me do that, and that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped you, or things that were left out that you still have questions about, and to share this video with someone just like you, someone who is looking for answers, someone who's curious and wants to grow. With your help, I believe we can build a community of people that want to grow together. So until next time, God bless.